bad. But again, we talk about 2000s were strong. You know what I'm saying? Like it was so many albums out that year. So it made sense on why, and then obviously Epic and them didn't push it like they should have, to be
Yeah,
honest.
and I got things to say about that too.
Oh yes, because it deserved way more than that. You know what I mean? Because and they get up with such a and this is the era. This is because yes, because a month before this is D'Angelo's Voodoo.
Yes.
Oh,
So
yeah, yeah.
so I'm like, okay, you got that, and you got Amel, which it's got the same thickness and all of that stuff. And I'm like, clearly, I wanted to ask y'all, do y'all think because Elise says that Mama's Gun is jazz, is it not?
To me,
Jazz is
Isn't this album
like,
very jazzy?
yeah, yeah.
So should
very. It's some songs that I'm like, I mean, yes, it's R. We could call it R&B because it's black, but this is a
right.
jazz tune.
Yes, because she is scatting for her life on some of these
And not
joints,
just because
bro.
of that, but yeah, just the arrangement, everything. Like,
And
yeah,
I'm just like, why couldn't this get that what Mama's Gun got? That
Mom, Mama's Gun didn't have no charts.
Mama's
Eric,
Gun.
not
oh,
not in
you
the way,
right.
not in the way your brain, because you think of it as a classic album, which it you know, and you
Right.
think, oh, this went blew shit out the water. For Eric, it and it was a slower burn. It was no, you yeah.
Yeah,
So,
okay. Make you saw where I was going with it. So yes, it did. It didn't it Mama's Gun didn't do, but it's like in the 2000s,
I mean,
it's like
it did better than a Mel, but I'm just saying it didn't blow the roof off for uh for what they was expecting Erica to do after coming off of bodyism.
right. And that's why I'm just like in the 2000s, it be bugging me out why they don't name this. You know what I'm saying? Like Infinite Possibilities is just as good as these. So I'm like, why can't we throw a Mel in it? Which bugs me out, but I don't know. That's an
hey,
epic issue.
so I don't know what I'm about to say, but I have like a vague picture. I'm gonna see if I can try to sketch it out. Uh,
Okay.
Kedar, Motown, them, they had a kind of vibe on everybody.
Thank you.
And
Yep.
so, like even the neo soul tag that people hate all labels, because a label is either very, very descriptive, or inaccurate. So like if it's super descriptive, people probably have never heard of it, but you know exactly what it is because it's like, oh, it's very like absolutely this place, this time, this style, that it tells you so much. But like the more vague it is, the more people can access it, and so it becomes super popular. As much as people hate the term neo soul, you still know what a lot of people mean when they say it. You know what they don't mean. What they don't mean is crazy in love. Nobody was going to call that neo soul. It was very mainstream. It was very almost pop, but it was still black. But for things like Mama's Gun, um, it had critical acclaim. Like, and I feel like I love Bag Lady. I don't care what nobody say, period. But I did notice that like it wasn't a whole bunch of singles that came from Mama's Gun. Like there was Didn't You Know? And I feel like there might have been one other one that might have been like a promo, but like, yeah, no, they didn't run that album through the way they could have.
Mhm.
Clever was a single.
Okay, yeah. And the fact that I forgot
Oh,
Clever was a single.
oh, it
Was a thing.
was. Yeah.
I never heard it. I never.
Yeah, so they treated Mama's Gun like it was a flop. And yet, in hindsight, we recognize it as the classic that it is. Like Dilla was on it, like all these Soulquarians was on it, like it was part of a movement that really helped shape culture.
Yeah.
And Amel didn't have Kedar believing in her. Amel had Sony, who had the muscle, but didn't have the investment, I feel.
Yeah,
And I resent
Yeah.
that
yeah.
because
And
it
I
was,
don't think they understood it.
they didn't. And like in hindsight, um, again, because I had the emotional experience of like these songs hitting for me,
Mhm.
by and large, like everything wasn't great, but most of it was great. Like the huge, the majority of this was just like, yeah, you can just run it from top to bottom for me. Uh, but yeah, I don't think anybody at Sony knew what to do with that. And it is what it is. But I'm very certain that the sin for this album was that it just was released too soon. By the time Neo Soul actually had like a foothold and was really like being respected as like its own vibe, Infinite Possibilities had already been out and cycled through. And
Yeah.
so like I feel like a project like this would have been had it come out the same time as say Acoustic Soul from India Ari. They've been talking about it in the same vein, talking about her like, oh, this new artist. They would have actually probably framed Amel as a new artist because you know when somebody goes solo, you can do like a whole rebrand with it.
Angie Stone.
You can do it. It just wasn't done for Amel, but anyway.
Uh-huh.